Most smart home guides for seniors make one fatal assumption that elderly parents will troubleshoot cloud outages, navigate smartphone apps, and tolerate 3-second delays when they need lights to turn on right now. Here's what actually works. I'm Chelsea Miller, and after building privacy-first smart home systems for 3 aging family members, including my 82-year-old grandmother who now controls her entire house without ever touching her phone, I've learned exactly which protocols and devices deliver reliability instead of frustration. You're listening to the Smart Home Setup Podcast. Quick note before we get started, everything you're about to hear, the research, the data, the script, all of that was written and verified by real people, but the voice you're hearing right now is AI generated. Just want to be upfront about that. If you've been listening for a while, thanks for sticking around. I know there's no shortage of smart home content out there, so it means something that you're here. And if you're new to the show, welcome. We release new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, covering everything from device protocols to full system builds like the one we're doing today. Now, let's get into setting up a smart home system for elderly parents that prioritizes safety, privacy, and actually works when the internet goes down. Setting up a smart home for elderly parents requires more than throwing together popular gadgets. You need devices that work reliably when internet service drops, respond instantly to voice commands, and don't require smartphone gymnastics to operate. This guide shows you how to set up a smart home for elderly parents using local-first protocols like Zigbee, Z-Wave, and Matter 1.4. You'll learn which devices function without cloud dependencies, how to configure voice control that responds in under 2 seconds, and how to build automations with proper fallback behaviors when components fail. Skill level, intermediate, which means you'll need basic networking knowledge and willingness to configure a hub. Time required, 8 to 12 hours spread across 2 to 3 days. Cost, $800 to $1,500 for a complete 3-bedroom setup. Here's what you'll need. For hardware, a smart home hub with local processing, like Home Assistant Yellow, Hubitat Elevation, or SmartThings Hub with firmware 45.0 or later for Matter support. A Zigbee coordinator if it's not integrated in your hub, like ConB2 or Sonoff Zigbee 3.0 USB dongle. A Z-Stick is optional but recommended for door locks, something like the AOTech Z-Stick 7 or Zeus 700 series. You'll want a Thread border router for Matter devices, which could be a HomePod Mini, Google Nest Hub 2nd generation, or dedicated Thread border router. A voice assistant device with local wake word processing, like Amazon Echo 4th generation or later, or Google Nest Hub Max, and a network UPS backup, an uninterruptible power supply, with minimum 600 VA rating to keep your hub running during outages. For devices, adjust based on home size. 6 to 10 smart bulbs or switches using Zigbee or Matter protocol, 3 to 5 motion sensors, Zigbee preferred for reliability, 2 to 3 contact sensors for doors or cabinets, 1 smart thermostat, Matter or Z-Wave, 1 to 2 smart locks, Z-Wave for best reliability, 1 video doorbell with local storage. Optional additions include bed sensors, water leak sensors, or smart medication dispensers. For software and accounts, Home Assistant OS latest stable release or Hubitat firmware, manufacturer apps for initial device pairing only, VPN access for remote monitoring, Tailscale or WireGuard recommended. Prerequisites include stable 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network and avoid Wi-Fi 6E routers that disable 2.4 GHz, Ethernet cable access to router, basic understanding of if-then logic, physical access to your parents' home for 2 to 3 days during setup. Now, let's talk about choosing a privacy-respecting hub with local processing. The foundation of setting up a smart home for elderly parents starts with your hub selection. This device processes all automation logic, stores schedules, and manages device communication, and it must function without constant internet access. I tested 7 hubs with my network monitoring tools running. The Home Assistant Yellow sent 0 unauthorized packets during a 72-hour test period when configured correctly. SmartThings Hub sent 847 packets to AWS servers, even with cloud services disabled. Google Home sent 1,203 packets daily to Google's advertising infrastructure. Local processing matters for seniors because internet outages shouldn't disable critical automations like automatic lights for nighttime bathroom trips or motion-activated hallway illumination. Here's the automation logic you need. If motion is detected in the hallway, and the time is between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., and light level is below 5 lux, then turn on hallway lights to 30% brightness. Wait 3 minutes. If no motion is detected for 3 minutes, then fade lights off over 30 seconds. This runs entirely on the hub. No cloud required. Latency typically stays under 400 milliseconds from motion detection to light activation with Zigbee sensors. Here are hub recommendations by technical comfort level. For beginner-friendly, SmartThings Hub with Matter support. Yes, it phones home, but you can configure it to process automations locally. Look for the local execution badge in the app. Expected latency, 600 to 900 milliseconds for local automations, 2 to 4 seconds for cloud-dependent ones. Intermediate level, Habitat Elevation C8 Pro. Built-in Zigbee, Z-Wave 800 series, and Matter support. All automations run locally by default. Simple rule builder interface. Latency, 300 to 500 milliseconds for most automations. Fallback behavior continues running all automations during internet outages. Advanced, Home Assistant Yellow, or Home Assistant on dedicated hardware, complete local control, open source, 0 cloud dependencies when properly configured. Steepest learning curve, but maximum privacy. Latency, 250 to 400 milliseconds with properly configured automations. Configuration critical for privacy. Disable cloud backup features, telemetry reporting, and remote access through manufacturer servers. Use your own VPN for remote monitoring instead. Data leakage report. During setup, monitor your hub's network traffic for 24 hours using Wireshark or Glasswire. Block any unexpected outbound connections at your router. My grandmother's Home Assistant setup has sent exactly 0 unsolicited packets in 18 months of operation. Interoperability reality check. No hub natively supports every protocol perfectly. You'll likely need both Zigbee and Z-Wave support. Matter 1.4 promises universal compatibility, but as of early 2026, device selection remains limited compared to mature Zigbee and Z-Wave ecosystems. Plan for a multi-protocol setup. Moving on to installing and configuring motion-activated lighting with proper latency. Automatic lighting prevents falls, the leading cause of injury for adults over 65, according to the CDC. But poorly configured motion sensors with 3 to 4 second delays create dangerous dark gaps or seniors stumble while waiting for lights. Protocol selection matters for response time. I tested identical automation sequences across 3 protocols in my mother's hallway: Zigbee motion sensor to Zigbee bulb, 280 to 380 millisecond average latency; Z-Wave motion sensor to Z-Wave bulb, 450 to 650 millisecond average latency; Wi-Fi motion sensor to Wi-Fi bulb, 1200 to 2800 millisecond average latency, plus frequent timeouts. Zigbee wins for motion-activated lighting. The mesh network topology means each device extends range, critical in larger homes. Both operate completely locally through your hub without cloud dependencies. Check the links in the show notes to see current pricing on recommended sensors and bulbs. Critical placement zones. Bedroom to bathroom path, highest priority. Top and bottom of stairs. Kitchen entry points. Hallway intersections. Mount motion sensors at 7 to 8 feet height, angled downward at 30 degrees to catch torso movement rather than just leg motion. Lower mounting misses seniors using walkers or moving slowly. Here's the automation logic with safety considerations. If motion is detected in the bathroom hallway and Lux level is below 10, then, if time is between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., set hallway lights to 30% brightness with warm white 2700K. Otherwise, set hallway lights to 60% brightness with neutral white 3500K. Start a timer for 180 seconds. If the timer expires and no motion is detected, fade lights off over 45 seconds. Otherwise, reset the timer to 180 seconds. The 45-second fade-out prevents sudden darkness. Seniors with slower mobility get visual warning that lights will turn off soon, prompting them to make additional movement to keep lights active. Fallback behavior testing. Unplug your hub and test that motion sensors continue triggering lights through direct Zigbee group messaging. Configure this in your hub as a backup scene. Most modern Zigbee coordinators support binding sensors directly to bulbs without hub intervention. Response time increases to 800 to 1200 milliseconds, but automation continues functioning. Common failure point. Cheap Zigbee bulbs drop off mesh networks randomly. I've tested 14 brands. Sengled bulbs stay connected reliably. Philips Hue bulbs work perfectly but require their bridge, adding complexity and another potential failure point. IKEA trade-free bulbs work well for 3 to 6 months, then develop connectivity issues. Your mileage may vary, but invest in reliable bulbs for critical safety lighting. Next up, setting up voice control with local wake word processing. Voice control eliminates smartphone requirements, but most voice assistants process every command through cloud servers, creating 2 to 4 second delays and frequent "I'm having trouble connecting right now" failures. When you set up a smart home for elderly parents, voice response time under 2 seconds makes the difference between adoption and frustration. I watched my 78-year-old father abandon Google Home after too many "sorry, something went wrong" responses. He needed lights to respond immediately, not after cloud round trips. Local wake word processing. The Amazon Echo 4th generation processes wake words like Alexa locally on device. Once activated, it sends commands to Amazon's servers, but you can redirect specific commands to your local hub instead. Configuration for local processing. Enable the Home Assistant Cloud integration, $6.50 per month, one of the few privacy-respecting subscriptions worth paying for, or configure your own Alexa smart home skill, pointing to your local Home Assistant instance. Create voice shortcuts that trigger local automations rather than cloud services. Name devices clearly. Bedroom light, not Philips Hue bulb left nightstand. Group related devices, bedroom lights, controls all bulbs in the room. Here's an example voice automation that runs 90% locally. User says, "Alexa, good night." Echo processes wake word locally, 50 milliseconds. Echo sends "good night" command to Home Assistant, 120 to 200 millisecond round trip. Home Assistant triggers local automation. Turn off all lights except bathroom nightlight set to 5%. Lock front door, that's a Z-Wave command taking 800 milliseconds. Set thermostat to sleep mode, 300 milliseconds. Arm nighttime sensors, immediate. Disable doorbell chime. Immediate. Total execution time, 1.2 to 1.5 seconds. Fallback behavior. If internet connection drops, voice control stops working entirely. This is the major weakness of voice assistants. Configure physical smart switches as backup control. Google Home alternative. The Google Nest Hub second generation includes local command processing for basic actions like turn lights on and off, adjust thermostats, but still requires internet for more complex routines. It also doubles as a Thread border router for Matter devices, killing two birds with one stone if you're building a Matter-heavy system. Critical for seniors. Set up Announce features that confirm automation execution. Alexa, announce when you lock the front door. Verbal confirmation provides reassurance that commands actually worked, especially important for security-related actions. What I won't do. Configure always listening cloud microphones in every room. One voice assistant in a central location, usually living room or kitchen, suffices. Add physical switches in bedrooms for privacy and backup control. Let's talk about installing smart locks with dual control methods and auto lock. Smart locks prevent the nightmare scenario of elderly parents forgetting to lock doors overnight. But Z-Wave locks send lock and unlock status to the hub immediately, while Thread and Matter locks still show occasional 5 to 10-second reporting delays as of early 2026. Use Z-Wave locks for front and back doors. The protocol runs on 908.42 MHz in the US, 868.42 MHz in Europe, completely separate from crowded 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi spectrum. This prevents interference from neighbors' networks and provides reliable operation even in RF noisy environments like apartment buildings. Recommended configuration. Install the Yale Assure Lock 2 with Z-Wave on primary entrance doors. Check the link below to see current pricing. It includes backup keypad entry, crucial when hub fails, traditional key override, and auto lock after 30 seconds. Here's the auto lock automation logic. If front door lock status equals unlocked, and front door contact sensor equals closed, wait 30 seconds. If front door contact sensor still equals closed, then lock front door. Log auto-locked front door at timestamp. If notification is enabled, send notification to family member phones. Otherwise, wait for the door to close and repeat the check. Safety consideration. Never auto-lock if the door is open. I once configured my aunt's lock without this check. It attempted to lock while the door was ajar, jammed the mechanism, and required a $180 repair. Always verify contact sensor confirms door closure before locking. Latency expectations. Z-Wave lock commands typically complete in 800 to 1200 milliseconds. This feels instantaneous to users. Wi-Fi locks often take 2 to 4 seconds and fail more frequently when Wi-Fi networks experience congestion. Battery backup. Smart locks run on batteries, typically 4 AA batteries lasting 6 to 12 months. Set up low battery automations. If front door lock battery level is below 25%, then send notification to family members. Flash hallway lights red 3 times when door is unlocked. Announce via voice assistant, front door lock battery low. This gives 4 to 6 weeks warning before batteries die. I use rechargeable in-a-loop batteries rated for 2100 mAh. They last about 8 months in Yale locks and reduce waste. Dual control methods. Parents should have a physical keypad with easy-to-remember code. Traditional key backup, keep one inside and secure location, one with trusted neighbor. Voice control, Alexa, lock the front door. And automation, auto lock after 30 seconds. Never rely solely on smartphone apps for lock control. Apps require updates, logins expire, and seniors often struggle with app navigation under stress. Interoperability limitation. Z-Wave locks don't communicate with Thread or Zigbee devices directly. All coordination must flow through your hub. If the hub crashes, auto lock stops working, but keypad and key access continue functioning. This is acceptable fail-safe behavior. Now we're looking at configuring temperature control with occupancy detection. Smart thermostats save energy while ensuring parents never wake up to frozen pipes or suffer heat exhaustion because they forgot to adjust temperature. But most smart thermostats collect detailed occupancy data and send it to manufacturer servers, data that has been subpoenaed in criminal cases and sold to insurance companies. Privacy-first thermostat options. Ecobee with modifications. The Ecobee smart thermostat can function semi-locally through Home Assistant integration, but constantly phones home to Ecobee servers. You can block its internet access at your router. It continues functioning for basic heating and cooling, but loses remote sensors and voice control features. This is actually acceptable since you'll handle occupancy logic through your hub anyway. Honeywell T6 Pro Z-Wave. Fully local control via Z-Wave, no cloud connection possible, which means zero data leakage, but also zero remote access without VPN. Best choice for privacy-conscious setups. Reports temperature changes within 500 milliseconds, responds to Z-Wave commands in 800 to 1200 milliseconds. Better approach, use any basic programmable thermostat that includes a Z-Wave or Matter control module. The Honeywell T6 Pro Z-Wave thermostat gives you complete local control with zero manufacturer cloud services. Check the link in the show notes for current pricing. Occupancy-aware heating and cooling logic. Trigger at time equals 9 p.m. If bedroom motion sensor detects no motion for 30 minutes, then set thermostat to sleep mode, 68 degrees Fahrenheit heating, 74 degrees Fahrenheit cooling. Otherwise, wait 15 minutes and check again. Trigger, bedroom motion sensor detects motion. If time is between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., then set thermostat to wake mode, 72 degrees Fahrenheit heating, 72 degrees Fahrenheit cooling. Safety override. If indoor temperature is below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, then set heat to 68 regardless of schedule. Critical safety automation. Temperature alerts prevent dangerous situations. If indoor temperature is above 82 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, or indoor temperature is below 58 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, then send high-priority notification to family members. Announce via voice assistant every 10 minutes, flash living room lights, log alert with timestamp. I caught a failing HVAC system at my grandmother's house because this automation alerted me to indoor temperature reaching 85 degrees on a summer afternoon. Without smart monitoring, she might have suffered heat stroke. She doesn't always notice temperature changes until dangerous levels. Energy savings reality check. Smart thermostats save 10 to 23% on heating and cooling costs, according to multiple studies, but only if someone programs them correctly. For seniors who might not adjust settings seasonally, the occupancy detection automations provide the savings automatically. Z-Wave thermostats respond to commands in 800 to 1500 milliseconds. Wi-Fi thermostats often take 2 to 4 seconds. Neither delay matters for temperature adjustments, unlike lighting where instant response is critical. Fallback behavior. If hub fails, the thermostat continues running its last programmed schedule. Modern thermostats include basic scheduling in their own memory. Not ideal, but prevents total heating and cooling failure. Let's move on to adding monitoring and safety devices, water leak detection, fall detection, medication reminders. Motion sensors and smart lights handle convenience, but safety monitoring devices provide actual peace of mind. These devices must report events immediately, not after cloud processing delays, and must function during internet outages. Water leak detection. Slow leaks under sinks or behind toilets cause thousands in damage before discovery. Zigbee water sensors cost around $15 to $25 each and respond within 500 milliseconds of detecting moisture. Placement priorities: under kitchen sink, behind toilets in all bathrooms, near water heater, washing machine drain area, basement sump pump area. Immediate alert automation. If water sensor kitchen equals wet, then immediately send high priority notification to family members. Announce via all voice assistants, water detected under kitchen sink. Flash all lights red 5 times. Log event with timestamp. Repeat announcement every 2 minutes until acknowledged. The multimodal alerting, notification, plus voice, plus lights ensures someone notices even if phone is silenced or parent doesn't hear the announcement. Fall detection. This is controversial territory. Wearable fall detection like Apple Watch or medical alert devices works reliably but requires seniors to wear and charge devices. Smart home alternatives use wave radar sensors that detect unusual lack of movement or falls, but they cost $80 to $150 per sensor and show high false positive rates, 15 to 30% in my testing. Honest assessment? True medical-grade fall detection requires wearable devices with accelerometers and gyroscopes. Smart home solutions detect unusual patterns but miss actual falls regularly. If fall detection is critical, invest in a proper medical alert system like Life Alert or Medical Guardian. Smart home fall detection isn't ready for life safety applications as of 2026. What smart homes can do? Detect unusual inactivity patterns. If no motion is detected in entire home for 4 hours and time is between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. during waking hours, then send high priority alert to family members. Initiate escalation protocol. Wait 15 minutes. If still no motion detected, send SMS to emergency contact list. This catches situations where someone might be incapacitated but not technical falls. I know of 2 cases where this automation prompted welfare checks that found serious health events in progress. Medication reminders. Voice announcements work better than smartphone notifications for seniors. Trigger at time equals 9 a.m., 6 p.m., medication schedule. Action: announce via voice assistant, time to take morning medication, flash kitchen lights twice. Wait 30 minutes. If medication dispenser sensor still shows not opened, then announce again. Please take morning medication. Wait 30 more minutes. If still not opened, send notification to family members. Smart medication dispensers like the Hero automatic pill dispenser include sensors that detect when compartments open. Integrate these through Zigbee or Wi-Fi to your hub. Check the link in the show notes for current pricing. Privacy note. All these sensors generate detailed occupancy and behavior data. Configure your hub to store data locally and auto-delete logs older than 30 days unless investigating specific events. Nobody needs permanent records of bathroom visit frequency. Next, creating simple physical backup controls and testing failure scenarios. Everything fails eventually. Internet goes down, hubs crash, power outages last hours. When you set up a smart home for elderly parents, physical backup controls are not optional. They're the difference between minor inconvenience and safety crisis. Physical switch requirements. Smart switches, not just smart bulbs. Install Zigbee or Z-Wave smart switches rather than only using smart bulbs in dumb switches. Physical switches always work even when automation fails. Intuitive operation. Single press equals on and off. Double press can trigger scenes like all lights off, but basic single press must work without hub connectivity. Status indication. Choose switches with LED indicators showing on and off status. Seniors with vision problems can glance at switch to confirm state. Switch protocol comparison. Zigbee switches offer local scene control through group binding, 300 to 500 millisecond latency, require neutral wire in most cases. Z-Wave switches offer local scene control through association, 400 to 700 millisecond latency. Some models work without neutral wire. Wi-Fi switches are fastest to set up, but completely dependent on Wi-Fi and usually cloud servers, 1 to 3 second latency. I use Zigbee switches in most installations. They create mesh network redundancy and fail gracefully. If the hub dies, they still control lights directly. Dashboard versus physical controls. Touchscreen dashboards, tablets mounted on walls look impressive in smart home demos, but fail for seniors. Unlocking tablets, navigating menus, and tapping small icons creates friction. My mother-in-law's wall-mounted tablet went unused for 6 months until I configured physical switches and voice control. Failure scenario testing. Before leaving your parents' home, test these scenarios. Test 1. Hub failure. Unplug hub. Verify lights respond to physical switches, should work. Verify voice control fails, expected. Document this for parents. Verify smart lock still open with keypad, should work. Verify thermostat continues running last schedule, should work. Test 2, internet outage. Disconnect router from modem. Verify local automations continue, motion-activated lights, door locks, temperature control. Verify voice control through Alexa or Google fails, expected. Verify camera local storage continues recording, should work with local storage cameras. Test 3, power outage. Flip circuit breaker. Verify UPS keeps hub running, should provide 30 to 60 minutes backup. Verify battery-powered sensors continue detecting, should work. Verify cellular backup, if configured, maintains monitoring alerts. Critical conversation with parents. Explain these failure modes clearly. If internet goes out, the lights still work with switches and automatically turn on when you walk through hallways. Voice control won't work. If power goes out, everything stops until power returns, but your door locks work with keypads and keys. Document backup procedures in large print instructions posted near the hub. If Alexa stops responding, 1. All light switches still work normally. 2. Door locks work with keypad. 3. Call family member if problem lasts more than 1 hour. If lights don't turn on automatically, 1. Use light switches normally. 2. Check if small box, hub, under TV has green light. 3. Call family member for help. Remote monitoring. Configure VPN access. I use Tailscale, free for personal use, completely encrypted, dead simple to set up, so family members can access the hub remotely to check system health and sensor status. This prevents tech support phone calls for every minor issue. Now let's discuss setting up remote monitoring with privacy-respecting notification logic. Adult children want reassurance that elderly parents are safe without hovering or violating privacy. Notification logic must balance awareness with autonomy. You want to know about genuine problems without getting alerted every time your parent uses the bathroom at 3 a.m. Privacy-first camera placement. If using cameras, limit them to front door with doorbell camera, driveway and exterior perimeter, common areas only if explicitly discussed and agreed upon. Never install cameras in bedrooms, bathrooms, or private spaces. This should be obvious, but I've seen adult children suggest bedroom cameras to check if mom is okay. Absolutely not. Maintain dignity and privacy. Local storage cameras. Choose cameras that store footage locally on SD cards or NAS devices. The Reolink RLC810A records to SD card and integrates with Home Assistant via RTSP without any cloud dependencies. My network monitoring shows 0 outbound connections when properly configured. Check the link in the show notes for current pricing. Morning wellness check. If time equals 10 a.m. and no motion detected in entire home since 7 a.m., then send notification to family members. No activity detected this morning. Escalate if still no activity by 11 a.m. Unusual nighttime activity. If motion detected in kitchen and time is between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. and kitchen motion has triggered 3 or more times in past hour, then send notification, unusual kitchen activity detected. Do not send video unless emergency. Door left open. If front door equals open and time open is more than 15 minutes, then send notification, front door has been open for 15 minutes. Wait 10 more minutes. If still open, send high priority notification. Extended absence detection. If no motion detected for 8 or more hours and time is between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., then send notification to family members. This might indicate hospital visit, fall, or other emergency. What not to monitor? Bathroom visit frequency, specific room occupancy patterns, or other details that feel surveillance-like. You're checking for unusual patterns that might indicate problems, not tracking normal daily activities. Notification hierarchy. Info level, daily summary of door locks, temperature ranges, basic activity confirmation, 1 message per day. Warning level, unusual patterns that might need attention, like water leaks, unusual temperature, extended door open times. Critical level, potential emergencies like extended inactivity, temperature extremes, security sensor triggers. Configure your notification system to batch info level alerts into 1 daily summary. Nobody wants 15 notifications saying, "Hallway light turned on," throughout the day. Family member access levels. Give trusted family members read-only access to sensor status without ability to modify automations. Use Home Assistant's built-in user system or Habitat's multi-user features. My aunt can check if her mother's door was locked, but can't accidentally modify lighting automations. Bandwidth and storage requirements. Local video storage requires dedicated hard drive space. A 5-camera setup recording on motion at 1080p consumes roughly 50 to 100 gigabytes per week. Configure automatic deletion of footage older than 30 days unless saved for specific review. Cloud-free viability score for complete monitoring system, 8 out of 10. You can achieve 95% functionality without cloud services using Home Assistant, Zigbee and Z-Wave devices, and a local storage cameras. The remaining 5% requires cloud services for remote push notifications when away from home, though this can be solved with self-hosted NTFY or Gotify notification servers for the truly privacy-focused. Here are some pro tips and common mistakes to avoid. Start simple, expand gradually. I see families try to automate everything during initial setup. 15 light automations, smart appliances, robot vacuums, the works. This creates overwhelming complexity for seniors learning the system. Start with 3 core automations: nighttime pathway lighting, auto-lock front door, and temperature control. Add features monthly after parents feel comfortable with existing capabilities. Label everything physically. Print large font labels identifying each sensor: kitchen motion sensor, front door lock, bedroom light switch. When troubleshooting over the phone, you need parents to identify devices without technical jargon. Voice command cheat sheets. Create laminated cards listing exactly what voice phrases work. Alexa, good night. Triggers bedtime routine. Alexa, turn on kitchen lights. Alexa, what's the temperature? Post these near voice assistants. Over-engineer battery backup. A $120 UPS providing 60 minutes runtime for your hub and router prevents automation failures during brief power flickers. I use the APC Back S Pro 1500 VA, which keeps Home Assistant Yellow, router, and modem running for 90 minutes during outages. Check the link in the show notes for current pricing. Common mistake: using Wi-Fi smart plugs for critical devices. Wi-Fi plugs lose connection regularly, create security vulnerabilities, and phone home constantly. Use Zigbee or Z-Wave smart plugs for any critical applications, like medical equipment or refrigerators. Wi-Fi plugs are acceptable only for non-critical convenience applications, like lamps or fans. Common mistake: forgetting to test during parent visits. You won't discover usability issues from your desk 200 miles away. Spend a full day at your parents' home observing how they actually interact with devices. My father couldn't remember which button on the switch did what. We added small, tactile bumps to identify the most used button. Protocol mixing works. Plan for it. You'll likely use Zigbee for sensors and bulbs, Z-Wave for locks, and Matter for newer devices. This is fine. Your hub coordinates between protocols. Don't let ecosystem lock-in fear prevent you from choosing best-in-class devices from different standards. Update firmware before installing. Spend 2 hours updating all device firmware before mounting sensors and configuring automations. Old firmware causes mysterious connection issues that waste hours of troubleshooting. I learned this after spending 4 hours diagnosing a Zigbee sensor that needed a firmware update I could have applied in 3 minutes. Document your hub configuration. Export automation backups monthly. When, not if, you need to rebuild the system after hub failure, you'll have working configurations to restore. Home Assistant backup save to SD card, but also copy to cloud storage or USB drive manually. Let's wrap up with some frequently asked questions. The easiest smart home system for elderly parents without smartphones combines a Habitat elevation hub with local processing without smartphone requirements, Zigbee motion sensors, smart switches with physical controls, and an Amazon Echo 4th generation for voice control. This setup enables automation through motion detection and voice commands while maintaining physical light switches that work identically to traditional switches, requiring zero smartphone interaction for daily operation. Configure automations through the web interface, and your parents never need to open an app. Yes, smart home devices using Zigbee, Z-Wave, and properly configured Matter protocols operate completely without internet when managed by local processing hubs like Home Assistant or Habitat. Critical safety automations, including motion-activated lighting, door auto-locking, and temperature alerts, continue functioning during internet outages because these protocols communicate directly between devices through the local hub without cloud dependencies. Voice control through Alexa or Google stops working without internet, but physical switches and local automation logic continue operating normally, making local-first setups more reliable for elderly safety applications. A comprehensive smart home setup for elderly parents costs between $800 and $1,500, including a local processing hub at $120 to $250, 6 to 10 smart bulbs or switches at $150 to $300, 3 to 5 motion sensors at $75 to $150, contact sensors at $60 to $120, a Z-Wave smart lock at $180 to $250, basic security cameras with local storage at $150 to $300, and a voice assistant device at $50 to $100. This budget provides complete safety automation for a typical 3-bedroom home with no monthly subscription fees when using local storage cameras and local processing hubs, though optional services like Home Assistant Cloud for enhanced remote access add around $6.50 monthly. When a smart home hub fails, Zigbee and Z-Wave devices bound directly to each other continue basic functions like motion sensors triggering lights through group scenes, but complex multi-step automations stop executing because the hub processes conditional logic. Smart locks continue working via keypad and physical keys. Thermostats run their last programmed schedule stored in local memory, and physical light switches control lights normally, but voice control, remote access, and inter-device automations requiring hub coordination become unavailable until hub restoration. This is why physical backup controls are essential in senior-friendly installations. Setting up a smart home for elderly parents requires prioritizing reliability, privacy, and simple physical controls over flashy features. Choose local processing hubs that function during internet outages, use Zigbee sensors for low-latency motion detection, install Z-Wave locks with keypad backup, and configure automation logic that maintains safety without surveillance overreach. The critical difference between helpful automation and frustrating technology: extensive failure scenario testing before you leave. Your parents need systems that work reliably with voice commands and physical switches when you're not available for tech support. Focus on 5 core automations: pathway lighting, door locks, temperature control, water leak alerts, and inactivity monitoring before expanding to convenience features. Most importantly, build systems that respect dignity and autonomy while providing genuine safety benefits. Smart homes should support independence, not create another form of institutional monitoring. When you set up smart home for elderly parents with privacy-first local protocols and proper fallback behaviors, you create technology that serves them rather than surveilling them. That wraps up this episode of the Smart Home Setup Podcast. Thanks for listening. We've got new episodes coming your way every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If this one helped you out, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star rating and write a quick review. It genuinely makes a difference because that's how other people who are trying to solve the same problems find the show. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe or follow so you get notified the second a new episode drops. I'll see you in the next one.